Hello 8th graders, welcome to our Wednesday video. I'm going to do our next experiment. The one that I'm doing today is Coke versus egg. So if you remember, this is for an example of something you could do for your science fair project for this week. Your science fair project could be super easy, like just filling out the Word document that's attached below with the answers to these questions, such as question, hypothesis, experiment, results, and conclusion. Or you can make a PowerPoint, you can make a poster, you can make a video, whatever you want to do, and you just have to submit it to me by Friday at midnight. And so what I'm going to show you today is Coke versus an egg. So this is what happens to the shell of an egg when it sits in Coke for 24 hours. My hypothesis is I think the egg shell will soften because of the chemical reaction that happens with the Coca-Cola. So we'll see what happens. I might be right, might be wrong. I did some research on it a little bit, and I'm not sure if 24 hours is going to be enough. And so that's why I'm just not sure what my hypothesis, if it'll be correct or not. One thing I found said you should leave it in there for a year, and I'm like, whoa, I don't have time to do an experiment for a year, right? So we're going to give it a try, and we're going to see what happens in 24 hours. So for my experiment, it says completely submerge an egg in a glass of Coke for 24 hours. So what I have here is I have an egg. Now this is a raw egg. If I were to do this experiment again and think about it kind of ahead of time, if I were to do this for a science fair project, I would probably do a raw egg and a hard-boiled egg and see if there's a difference between the two after 24 hours or 48 hours or a week. So all I have to do is take this egg, put it in the cup, and then I'm going to completely submerge the egg in Coca-Cola. Okay, I'm gonna make sure after the fizzing goes down. Oh, it looks like we could use a little more, right? It's not completely submerged. Now, I think the egg is going to float a little bit, so it's not going to be completely, but we will get the idea. And I'm not going to move it around, so, you know, my hypothesis would be that that part that's showing might not be as soft as the others, but we will see. So there we have my experiment. I wrote down exactly what I was going to do. My result, I would kind of check it after 24 hours and see what happened. Now, if I don't see any results after 24 hours, I could always leave it longer, and I could always add that in my results. You know, didn't see any changes after 24 hours, so I left it for 48, and then I left it for 72 just to see what was going to happen. Conclusion, I found that blah, 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 blah. Tell me, what did you find when your experiment happened? If it doesn't work, is it okay for me to write, I found that my experiment did not work. There were no changes after 24 hours to my egg. That is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with things not happening in an experiment. You just have to document it and tell us that. So it's okay to say that. The control, independent, and dependent variable in this experiment would be as follows. So control. Now remember, when we do these things, you have to have more than one thing. So if I were to do this, I would take a hard-boiled egg and a raw egg. And if I were to do that, those two cups, I could say my control is the Coca-Cola, the cup, and how much Coca-Cola I would put in. Now that means I would have to measure it to make sure it is the same amount for each cup. Also, my independent variable then would be the egg, the raw egg versus a hard-boiled egg. And then my dependent variable would be what happens to the two eggs after sitting in Coke for 24 hours. That would be my dependent variable. If one gets soft, that would be the dependent variable. If it stayed hard, that would be the dependent variable. It just depends on what happens because of the independent variable, okay? So that is our experiment. Hope you enjoyed it. Pretty simple one. There's so many easy ones that you can do at your house. You don't have to do one of the ones that I've showed you this week, but you can if you want to. If you want to, you know, just do what you have to do to kind of get the project done, that's just fine. I have no problem with that at all. So just make sure you submit it to me by Friday at midnight, and we will be all set. Have a good day, everybody.